everyone, how's it going? So I've always been a little curious about self-help books and whether or not they are actually any good, whether they actually bring across any ideas that will help you create habits or to be productive. So this video is pretty much me exploring those books that are said to be self-help and productivity, and I'm gonna be reading the books. After reading the books, I will sit down here in this spot and give you my thoughts on them. At the end of the video, we will see if they are actually any good. Alright, book one for the self-help reading vlog has been finished. It's just been a few days since I've updated this vlog, or even actually started this vlog, or given you an update with this vlog, shall I say. Just been a lot of stuff happening in my personal life lately, so I just haven't had the time or the energy to come on here and give you a bit of an update. But I have finished my first book, which is Make Your Bed by William H. McRaven. And this is a very, very good book. It's short, it's around 100 pages in length, so it's easy for you to read. The chapters are short in length as well, which is really, really handy when you're doing a reading vlog like this and you have a bit of a deadline. Don't think I would consider this book to be a self-help. I would consider this to be a little bit more of a memoir slash life lesson slash life inspiration, just with the things that this author, that this person went through being in the SEAL division in the military. But I guess in some ways it's a loose self-help book, shall I say, but more of a memoir, life lessons, important life lessons kind of thing. I'm just going to talk about some points that I think relates a bit more to self-help, which is what this reading vlog is about. There's 3 points I'm going to be talking about. The first one is the title of this book, called Make Your Bed, and this point pretty much is talking about the simplicity of making your bed. It is a simple and easy task to do, and if you were to do that simple, easy task, your day will go much more smoothly. And if you were to have a bad day at work or just a bad day in general, and you were to come home at the end of the day and you will see your bed made, and that is one task done. So it's pretty much about just doing one simple easy task done. Just do one simple easy task in the day to make your day a little bit more better, knowing that if you have had a bad day at work or just in your life in general, that you know you can come home to one task being made, which is making your bed. And it also teaches you about discipline as well. And it's a good habit to have to make your day run a little bit more smoothly. And it just means that if that one simple easy task is done, we have more time for ourselves. No one wants to be in the circus. That is the second point for this book that I think relates to self-help a little bit more. And the circus relates to failure in life and the chaos and hardships that you will definitely be facing in life. If you fail at something, you are going to fail again and again and again. But the more you practice something, the more you do little bits here and there at a time, the more you will get better at something, and then all of a sudden you will realize, hey, I'm ahead of the pack here. I am doing really well. I'm doing better than this person that was like the best at what they were doing. And again, it also teaches you discipline. It gets you into like a bit of a habit. And like these little minuscule things do take a lot of time, but you will develop like a resilience to things. You will develop a resilience to hardships and failures in life. And you will be able to get yourself out of those sticky situations with the knowledge and the skill that, hey, little bits here at a time can actually help me get ahead of the game and make me better myself. And the last point I would like to touch up on is music. This book does have a section talking about music and how it can get you through tough times, and boy, do I love this topic a lot. It is something that I experience a lot and that I can relate to, and I think a lot of us can relate to as well. I actually think this point had more to do with the power of crowds, and if one person were to have the courage to do something, then other people will follow. But going back to the music part, I have definitely experienced music helping my mood a lot. And there was one time recently where I was not wanting to do anything YouTubery. I did not want to be in front of a camera. I did not want to do anything. All I wanted to do was play a video game. It was a bit of a tiring day that day, and I just did not want to do anything. So what I did was I put on my headphones, I played a game. I was on there for 2 hours. It did not even feel like 2 hours. It was very relaxing. It was exactly what I needed, and it really boosted up my spirit. It really boosted up my mood. Definitely something that people need to do a lot more. I know people probably already do, but I just really love that topic a lot. And there's other little topics that this book talks about. This book is split up into different chapters, and also at the end of the book he has incorporated or put in his speech that he has given to these group of uni students that were graduating in Texas. So he has put his speech to them in this book, but the book itself talks about some of the points that he's made in his speech, in his commemoration speech, anyway, in his speech for graduating uni students. And this book, Make Your Bed, expands upon that a little bit more. There's a lot more points that he talks about. There's a lot of chapters where it does talk about people's resilience and how it can help you too. He kind of relates back to his time being in the SEAL division, or being a SEAL, and like in the military. And he also kind of relates it back to us people that are not in the military, and how he brings it around. Like, everyone has faced a lot of difficulties in life, and I think it's a really good book. I really do. I remember seeing a little bit of the speech that he made to these Texas students, these University Texas students. My camera battery is flashing at me. Don't be naughty, camera battery. I actually watched a little bit of his speech that he gave to these uni students, and I thought it was really good, really inspiring, and that's what this book is, really inspiring. Atomic Habits by James Clear. I gave this book 5 stars, 5 life-changing stars. It changed my brain chemistry pretty much early on. The steps are so easy to follow. The writing in this was really good. It was simple, straightforward, approachable, yet it didn't feel dull or boring in the writing. It felt natural. It does put neuroscience into it, and it does put a little bit of psychology. Working out how habits work with our brains, how our brains and our body react to or try to create habits, was absolutely fascinating. You don't have to worry about being overly smart because it is written very easy. It's easy to understand. This author, James Clear, put his own experiences and also some other people's experiences with creating good habits. And I really loved how he put that in there, because it makes it more realistic reading those experiences, and it kind of gives you some idea of, okay, this worked for them, okay, this didn't work for them, okay, they did this but they tweaked it a little bit. Each book is split up into different chapters, different sections. Each section talking about how to create the good habits, and also the reversal about the bad habits and how to get rid of them. So each chapter, each section talks about how to make a good habit easy, how to make it attractive, how to make it obvious and satisfying, and like I said, the reversal of those 4 good elements to have a good habit, and how to eliminate a bad habit. I've heard that James Clear is a bit of an expert in self-help, and it really goes to show. Like I've mentioned, the writing was so good because he knows what he's talking about. It's been tried and tested and proven with different people, and he knows a bit about science, like the neuroscience and the psychology of habits with humans and stuff like that. It's very fascinating read. There is one bit of negativity that I myself have with self-help books, and that is the fact that the authors make it so easy. It feels so easy on paper, but yet I feel like they don't acknowledge that when it comes to practice, when it actually comes to putting these tips and tricks to use, that it's really bloody difficult to get yourself into those habits. This book really talks about that. It talks about that towards the end of the book, and I'm really happy that this book talked about the negative side of creating a good habit, because it's not easy. You know, you've got a lot of mental obstacles to overcome, and you need to learn how to make free time, even if it's just showing up for a couple minutes, you're still creating a good habit that way. He knows things are not going to work for people. There's some things that didn't work for him, and he says that even he has slipped off the bandwagon of creating a good habit from time to time. But the trick is to, like the day after, just get straight back into it. Just having that in here was a massive, big like for me. The knowledge that these experts in these fields know what it's like, and they acknowledge that it can be hard to create new habits. I was so happy that was included. I feel like I could go on and on about this book, but I don't think I will, because if I do, then I will pretty much just spoil the book for you. Then you won't get to read the book yourself, which I think you should read this book yourself. It's really, really good, like I keep saying. I have not read a lot of self-help / productivity books at all. It's a genre that is new to me. However, I feel like this is the best in the genre. There's a reason why there's like a really high rating for this book on Goodreads. It's truly phenomenal. And like I said, life-changing, life-altering, brain chemistry changing, because it's so easy. Like, I am familiar with creating habits and being productive on social media, like with posts on social media, but I feel like those ones are pretty much in one ear, out the next. Like, I just don't retain that kind of information. I'll always brush those kinds of topics on social media aside. They don't really work for me. They don't gel with me in my brain. But this book, I absolutely 100% gel with. I highly recommend reading this book. It's so easy to follow. It's foolproof. These tips and tricks to create good lasting habits. We need to talk. So I'm reading, what's it called again? Slow Productivity by Newport. Excuse any background noise. I've got some nice lo-fi in the background and my parents are watching a movie in the other room, so excuse any background noise. Slow Productivity. Don't know how I feel about it. I don't think it relates to me. I think this book would have been better if it were to target everyone, because everyone is busy, right? We all need to work on our productivity, so to speak. It does talk about the pandemic and coronavirus and how it has, like, pretty much exploded things in terms of excessive workloads. Just with the struggles of working from home and just having more work on top of housework. And if you have kids, then you gotta get them settled and everything like that. And what is it with the long autobiographies or life stories of people? There's one about Jane Austen, about her writing habits or her productivity with writing. Pretty much we're reading about her story. We are reading about her freaking story, and it was, I shouldn't say boring because I haven't really read it. I've actually been skim reading this book, and you're in trouble when you're skim reading a book and it is taking you longer to read than at your normal reading speed. You're in trouble. What I'm going to do is, I'm not going to continue, well, I am going to continue skim reading, but I'm going to do it a little bit differently. This book has, I'll show you right now, this book has stuff like this. Every now and then it has stuff like this. Also, the chapters are really, really long, so that is not helping me at all. And also stuff like that. I'm gonna try and look for these kinds of headings. And there's also some I know there's some bigger ones as well. And some of those other bigger ones. So I think I'm just going to try and find those, because I am struggling a little bit with this book. But the thing is, it does have some decent ideas. It's just so wordy and long, and I don't think we need to know about someone's backstory, about someone's life story. Read this book if you want to, if it's interesting to you. It doesn't relate to me. It relates more to knowledge workers and solopreneurs, small business owners, freelancers, because I understand they are the ones that have the most workload. I understand that completely, but a lot of people in a lot of industries have a lot of workload. It's not just one group, it's not just one sector, one industry. It's a lot of people do. We don't know what's going on in people's lives, how busy they are. We really don't. And like I said, the long chapters are not helping, especially when it's pretty much about people's life. Now I'm going to be reading about Benjamin Franklin now, and I understand what he's trying to say, because these people used to do it. They took their time with work, and they were able to produce really good content. I had just read a part about the guy that created CSI, and that was really fascinating. Like, he didn't rush it. He was lazy about his work, I guess you could say. He wasn't rushed, but it didn't look like he was being productive, but no one can measure your productivity. Everyone has different ideas of what being productive and being accomplished and what getting work done looks like. It's different for everyone, so you really can't say someone's lazy when clearly they're not, because they saved your frickin' network. Yeah, I'm just going to continue skim reading it, hopefully get it somewhat finished. Do I want to get it finished tomorrow? Yeah, I should be able to finish it tomorrow. It's just, I'll tell you more about it when I wrap up this vlog. Oh, see, it's making me sleepy. Yeah, it's just not what I thought it was going to be, which is sad, really. I'm a little upset about it, to be honest. Before I actually leave ya, he does have good ideas, and he does put even just everyday normal people and their experiences with productivity and them implementing a slower pace of working. He does put their experiences in here, and also some of his, but I just haven't been reading enough, and I don't think I want to. So like I said, I'm going to continue skim reading it, highlighting it, because it is an ebook. I actually don't mind highlighting the books if it's an ebook, but when it comes to physical, I have a heart attack when someone annotates their books. I don't know why. That's just the way my little potato brain works. Annotating ebooks is fine. Physical is not. Don't ask me why. Okay, I don't know. It would just, like I said, my potato brain. I will see you when I have finished this vlog. Alright, so I have finished Slow Productivity by Cal Newport. It's been like a day since I've read the book, and I have given this a 2 stars, but I'm just going to say I was not the target audience for this book. Well, it did have some good tips and tricks for how to be slow with your productivity, but it was more targeted towards business owners, freelancers, solo entrepreneurs, all for those in the knowledge sector of the job industry. I'm not in any of those categories in any of those sectors, so it really wasn't for me. But I kind of wish it had have been more for everyone, not just for a certain group of people. Even though I completely understand why it is for a certain group of people, it just did not relate to me. I said before in the previous section, in the previous clip, that this book really has a lot of history of historical figures of modern day people today that are well known that use slow productivity. It did feel bogged down. It really bogged down the reading experience for me. I completely understand what this author was going for. It was kind of like a, hey, look at this person that used slow productivity, and look how famous, and look how good their work is, and all that kind of stuff. And you can do it too, because they've done it, so can you. All of that about the historical people, or people in modern day, well-known people that use slow productivity. We did not need to know every single aspect of their life. It felt like learning about everything about their life. We did not need to know every single little thing about their life. It could have been said in like a few paragraphs, and it would have been a bit more of a better reading experience. If I wanted to read about someone in their life, I would have gone for a biography or a memoir, and not for something that is more towards self-help. But I completely understand where the author was going with it. This book has mentioned his other really popular self-help book, which is Deep Focus, or Deep Work. I think it's Deep Work, Deep Focus. I can't remember which it is now. He does talk about that in certain sections of the book, or in some sections of the book. I don't know if that book would be for me either, because again, I think it's more targeted to people who are solo entrepreneurs, freelancers, those in like a corporate kind of job kind of thing. So I don't think that book is going to be for me. me. And like I said again in the previous clip, I have skim read a lot of this book. I did read some really good points. Like if there was something that caught my eye, I would read a certain section here and there, but a lot of this book was skim read, and I only just read the points and the tips and tricks that I thought related to me a lot more, and the ones that I thought would help me. That's it for this reading vlog about whether self-help books are any good and whether or not I think they can help me. For the most part, I do think they can, because there are some really good tips and tricks in some of these books, especially more with Atomic Habits. Like that book was just honestly like life-changing and so freaking good. 2 books out of the 3 that were really good, I consider that a success, and it's really interesting seeing that there are similarities with some tips and tricks throughout all of these 3 books. It was really interesting to see that. I guess if there are some elements, some tips and tricks that are pretty similar throughout all the books that I have read, then that just goes to show that there is some credit to those tips and tricks. So that's really good to know that. And thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Do you think self-help books would help you? Let me know, and I'll see you in another video. Bye for now.